Joining us. I'm glad to see that we got a lot of people this afternoon. And then we're going to get going right away. So the resource update. So you saw yesterday, there's been a lot of hard work from the geologists for the last I would say 5-6 months. We started this summer. We did a 3D model. Historically, there's over 1 million meters of drilling in this mine, over 8,000 holes. But there was never a 3D model of the deposit. So what we did is we mandated Innovexplo to do the resource of, like, to build a 3D model for us, and then to after that do a resource estimate. So with our geologists at the mine site. So this is what we did, and that's what we're going to show you this afternoon. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go directly to the slide that shows the resource. So this is a plan view of the Sleeping Giant mine. This is our flagship asset. It's 80 kilometers north of the city of Amos. It's in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, and it's 100% owned by Abcourt. The deposit is directly underneath the Sleeping Giant mill. The mill is on site and operational and fully permitted. So what you see here is a plain view of the deposit. I'm going to show a few slides here. So you see a lot of veins. There's over 800 structure in this deposit. The bottom here is to the west, and over here is to the east. The head frame is somewhere over here. So accessible, all these structures are accessible from 98 or 99% of the resource is accessible from our existing shaft. So this is a section view looking north. Same thing. What the heath is over here. You see the surface crown pillar here, and the color code is the grade. So the grade varies from, of course, less than 2 grams to over 50 grams per ton. So a lot of, and you see the plunge to the east on that deposit. The gap that you see here, this is a plan view, same thing, but with the color code with the grade. Where there's black, it doesn't mean there's nothing. It tells us that it can be drilled. So by adding holes, you can actually improve the potential of the deposit. For example, in this sector here, there's no resource, but to make an inferred resource, you need 3 holes with 75 meters spacing between them. So if you have only 2 holes, 200 meters apart, there's no resource. So that's why you see a blank. But we have drill results over here that shows there is a structure. It just needs more drilling, what we call infill drilling, in order to increase the potential in there. And we got that everywhere on that deposit. So this here is the mineral envelope that we built. Those are the 840 structure that we spoke about. This here is your the resource. So you got 2 types of resource, indicated and inferred. The indicated is the purple, and the orange is the inferred. Again, you see indicated DSO shape. So we applied some economical parameter already to this, and this is what's economical for resource. Now, same thing, the inferred, it's in the same area, it's accessible. This is our working, the existing working of the mine. So, for example, we have access here. We just need to do internal like raises and so on in order to access the veins on either side of this deposit, of this sector here. Same thing over here. You know, it needs some development, but not like a brand new mine. We have all the existing asset that we can use to access, do some rehab from the collar of the shaft on surface, refurbish the shaft, refurbish the drift, and then you get into the vein. This is a plan view of all the openings that we have underground, and we'll be able to use them as well for drilling, for exploration and infill drilling from underground. So instead of doing a 700-meter hole from surface to intersect a 1-meter vein, you can do the same thing with maybe a 200-meter hole. So this is the next phase for our geo, is going to be to assess how many meters of drilling we need to take this the mine to the next step. You know, because to me, this the resource that we released yesterday is not an achievement, it's a milestone. So we're going to continue drilling, we're going to continue to extend the resource, and then eventually this is going to be a mine going on, it's going to be producing for years. So this is our plan with the Sleeping Giant mine. Again, more slides. This is to show the inferred, the indicated, and where there's potential in green. This is where the geologists, in red is the potential. So these are areas that you would want to probably drill sooner than later. Now, let's stop the sharing. So let's go back to, so in parallel to do the resource update at Sleeping Giant, we made a few things this summer and this fall. You saw that we announced an agreement with Pershimex. This is to expand the company. Like we have some asset, but we got to look for opportunities. So you can do that in parallel. So Sleeping Giant is one. It's our flagship. It's priority number one. Priority number two, you got Discovery Flambin. I didn't talk about it, but it's a deposit 80 kilometers east of the Sleeping Giant mill that we can go and get that one going maybe in a few years. So for now, it's an exploration asset. And then we're proposing our shareholder to acquire Pershimex. Pershimex, it's a group of claims. It's a properties that are not too far from our mill, and high grade as well. So great possibility with synergy. Just the fact that we're in the same camp, we're sharing this. We're not sharing the same labor, but you know, it's like corporately there's affinity between the two groups. So Pershing Manitou would be a third deposit. The priority is still Sleeping Giant, and that's why a lot of our energy is there. But we have other assets that we can continue to grow the company. Right now, in the short term, we're doing the mill cleanup. Mill cleanup is ongoing. As you saw this morning, we produced more than 1,600 ounces from the mill cleanup since October 1st. So this helped the company with the short-term cash requirement, and we're continuing that into the winter. So the mill cleaning is going very well, except one day that mill's going to be cleaned. So eventually we're going to need to go to the next phase. So the next phase for Abcourt is to get the Sleeping Giant mine up and running. So in the short term, how we're going to do that? Well, we're going to need to bring money at the Sleeping Giant mine in order to get it in production. So through exploration, you can start the drilling, grow your resource, and continue the growth of the Sleeping Giant, and then you become more attractive for investment. So that's what Sleeping Giant mine we're going to be doing. So on that, so then that brings me to the AGM. So the AGM, we're telling the market Abcourt was not well known, so it's time to get the company on the street, well known, get it out, get the word out, refresh the website, refresh the name, refresh the board, show the commitment to all the shareholders of the company that we're going to be looking for growth. The share price that we're at right now, it's where we're at, but I don't want to stay at 6 cents for the next 20 years. This can grow, and how we're going to grow it is through resource increase, get the Sleeping Giant mine in production, change name, restructure the capital. Now, the restructuring of the capital, it's one thing to worth mentioning is that restructuring is going to be it's going to be done when we get the Sleeping Giant mine funded to grow. So we're not going to do that on January 15 because it's a Monday. We're going to do that when we're growing Sleeping Giant and we see growth potential. The reason we're asking the shareholder to vote in advance is to accelerate the process when we have investors lined up, ready to launch the financing. We don't want to go back to a special meeting with the shareholder and tell our investors, well, maybe it's going to be a yes vote. Maybe I'm not sure if it's going to be yes or no. You want to do that. You want to come to the investor and say, here, we're going to do it. And this is what it's going to look like. It removes the uncertainty. It removes the risk for the investor. And it sends the message that we're there for growth. So that's why we're asking the shareholder to vote for that share consolidation. Now, any questions on the chat, Danny?
No, there is no question yet.
Okay, so I was clear. So I'll move to French. Me prendre une gorgée d'eau.